Hey, welcome. So, let's be real. Your to-do list is probably a mile long, and that stack of books you've been meaning to read, it's just sitting there, gathering dust. If that sounds familiar, you're in exactly the right place. Over the next few minutes, we're going to build a super simple, super effective game plan to get you reading again, and not as another chore, but as your new secret weapon for success.
All right, let's dive right in. Here's our 5-step game plan for this session. First, we'll cover the why. What's the real advantage you get from reading? Then we're jumping straight into the how, choosing the right book, scheduling it in, reading for growth, and, this is a big one, celebrating the finish line. Think of it as a clear roadmap to get you from, I really want to read more, to, wow, I just finished a great book.
Look, I totally get it. Your schedule is absolutely packed. But what if I told you that the one thing you feel like you have no time for is the very thing that could give you a massive edge in your career and life? Seriously. We're not talking about just adding another task to your list. We're talking about making a strategic investment in your number one asset, you.
Just let that one sink in for a second. This quote is so powerful because it reminds us that just having the ability to read is only half the battle. That's just potential. The real advantage, the real power, comes from actually choosing to use that skill. When you think about it, not reading is a choice that leaves all that amazing potential just sitting on the table.
And this right here, this is the payoff. Every single book is a new opportunity. It's a direct line to developing new skills, gaining fresh perspectives, and really fundamentally shaping who you are and how you show up in the world. It is, hands down, the ultimate form of self-improvement. So knowing the why is great. It gets us motivated. But, action is where the magic really happens. So let's get practical. Your first mission, should you choose to accept it, is to pick one book. Just one. But this isn't a random pick from a shelf. It's a strategic decision that's going to set this entire new habit in motion. So how do you pick that winning book? Easy. Just follow these 3 simple rules. First, you have to find it genuinely interesting. Don't pick a book because you think you should read it. Pick something you actually want to know more about. Second, make it useful. Find a book that can help you solve a problem or a challenge you're facing right now. And third, make sure it's good. Remember, you become what you read, so be intentional about what you're feeding your mind. Okay, let's talk about the biggest hurdle for pretty much everyone, time. The big secret here, it's not about finding time, it's about making time. This next step is all about a crucial mindset shift that puts you right back in the driver's seat of your own calendar. This slide says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the passive mindset. I have no time. It's like time is something that just happens to you. But on the right, you've got the proactive mindset. I will make time. See the difference? That's you deciding that time is a resource you control and allocate. That tiny switch in language from have no time to will make time, that's the whole game. So how much time do you actually need to make? You're probably going to be surprised. We are not talking about some massive life overhaul here. We're talking about 3. Just 3 dedicated hours a week. That's it. That is enough to finish about 1 book every single month. All of a sudden, that feels totally doable, right? So where on earth do you find these 3 hours? Well, here are a few proven strategies. You could try waking up an hour earlier, maybe just a few times a week. Or maybe that lunch break isn't for running errands. Maybe it's your reading time now. If you have kids, a solid bedtime routine can carve out that golden hour at the end of the day. Trust me, the time is there in the pockets of your day. You just have to claim it. Okay, so you've got your book, you've carved out the time. Now what? Well, this next part is where you get the real return on your investment. We're shifting focus from the logistics of reading to the impact of reading. Because, the goal isn't just to check books off a list, it's to let them actually change you. We call this active reading, and it's basically the difference between information just washing over you and information actually sinking in and taking root. It means you're having a conversation with the book. You pause, maybe you underline something. You're constantly asking yourself, okay, how does this apply to me? What's one thing I can actually try from this chapter? The most important point here is to give yourself permission to slow down. It's not a race. The real value isn't in how many books you finish, but in the quality of the insights you gain. So if you're reading a business book, treat it like a workbook. Don't move on until you've put 1 action item in your calendar. And if you're reading fiction, just let yourself sit with the story. What did you learn from a character's choice? That reflection, that's where the transformation happens. And here we are, our final step. And let me tell you, this is the one that turns a one-time thing into a lifelong habit. You have to acknowledge your wins, because celebrating that finish line is what gives you the fuel and the desire to do it all over again. This whole process creates this amazing, powerful reward loop in your brain. First, you finish the book. Then you share what you learned with someone, which, by the way, helps lock it into your own memory. Then you take just a moment to reflect and feel that sense of accomplishment. And that feeling? That's what provides the motivation to immediately go pick out your next book.
So we've laid out the entire game plan, from the right mindset to the right execution. You have all the tools you need. You know it's not about finding time, it's about making it. The only thing left to do now is start. So I'll leave you with this one question. Your next chapter of growth is waiting for you. What book are you going to open first?